closest ally of Kremlin in the European Union, as it is still heavily dependent on Russian gas and oil imports, despite sanctions after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. Now, Orban has also said that he is going there to ensure Hungary's energy supply is secured for the winter and the following year at an affordable price. However, Orban has claimed that Hungary has the lowest energy price in Europe, thanks to its access to Russian gas and oil, which is cheap relative to international price levels. Since returning to power in 2010, Orban has met Putin 15 times, and this will be their fourth meeting since the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. And we now want to welcome Sander van Hoorne, who is a former European Union correspondent, joining us live from Amsterdam in Netherlands. I extend you a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us here at NewsX World. Could you primarily first help us understand Viktor's visit to Moscow? Of course, he's emphasized how it continues to benefit from the cheap Russian oil and gas prices. This has also been the case with other countries, including India, who maintain that they get the best deal from Russia as far as oil import is concerned. And that's also the line that Hungary now follows. What's your comment?
Well, Orban has multiple reasons to keep using Russian oil. One is strategic, not being too dependent on the European Union and being the thorn in the side of the European Union, so it benefits his negotiation position in the side of the EU. But it also has a very practical reason, especially when it comes down to the use of Russian crude oil. It's not only where the pipes are that transport the oil, because that you can do in another way. You can build new pipes leading west instead of east, but it's also the oil refineries in Hungary that are tweaked to use the specific compounds of the Russian oil. So that makes it still dependent on Russian oil. And that's also the reason that the EU has looked away time and again at the usage of Russian oil by Hungary, because they know that it cannot be changed overnight, this dependency on the specific mix of Russian oil.
All right, absolutely. And don't you think that Orban's stance here is rather courageous, given the fact that this is a rare journey by an European Union leader during the ongoing conflict in Ukraine?
Yeah, and that's a role that Orban likes to play. And he's also, of course, eyeing his re-election next year, the elections in Hungary that are bound to be exciting. He is not sure of his win. So he wants to be seen as a statement. And that's also the reason that he will not only talk energy with Vladimir Putin, but also the peace in Ukraine. There was talks a while ago on a peace summit, direct meeting between Zelensky, Trump and Putin in Budapest, the capital of Hungary. That plan did not come to fruition, but that's a win that Orban still wants to have. So whenever there is a meeting, whenever there is a peace plan ready to be signed, he wants it to happen in Hungary. And that's for sure something they will talk about. But I think, and that's also the analysis of a lot of other people, that the 28-point Trump plan is not quite there yet.
Do you think that this move also risks him sanctions from the US?
Well, he has talked, of course, with his close friends by now, the US President Donald Trump, who has threatened sanctions on countries like India, like Hungary, that continue to use Russian oil. But Orban has seemed to be able to get an exemption from that rule. So he has some leeway from Donald Trump, as he has from the European Union, to continue using Russian oil. And that's like the practical side of it. There's the symbolic side of it, of course, that you don't want to be dependent on Russia, looking from a European or an American perspective. And that's again, the role that Orban likes to play. He likes to be in the middle, being able to play both sides to his advantage. And that's how many people view the visit to Moscow. He has been there for the last 15 years on average every year, to the chagrin, to the frowned eyes in Brussels, of course, where they see Orban operating alone, but he is a EU member state, and as such, he gives Russia the opportunity to use that to its advantage. They have a friend inside of the European Union. Russia likes that. Orban likes to play that role, and in Brussels, they really do not like that.
All right, thank you, Sana, for joining us here at NewsX World. And with that, viewers, let's shift our focus to news from Germany, where German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier will become the first German head of a state to visit Guernica, the Basque town devastated by a Nazi air raid during Spain's civil war in one of the first modern air bombings of civilians. Now, Steinmeier, accompanied by Spain's King Philippe VI and Basque Regional President Emmanuel Pradales, will lay a wreath at a cemetery housing a mausoleum built in 1973 for hundreds of victims of the bombings. The visit comes after the far-right Alternative for Germany tops some nationwide polls and is expected to perform strongly in the 5 state elections next year. And that's a wrap on the NewsX Eurozone, but do keep watching NewsX World for more international updates from across the world.
In the midst of death, life persists. In the midst of untruth, truth persists.
What we can do as the Interparliamentary Union to strengthen democracy, to promote human rights, to ensure that humanitarian law is respected.
UN Security Council needs a makeover, a comprehensive reform, and India deserves a position there, a role there.
Prime Minister Modi during Operation Sindoor made it amply clear that war has never been India's choice. We are with the side of peace. We are neither neutral nor indifferent. We are with peace.
We would have dealt with the U.S. a whole lot on trade and